Hello there, world. This is Ash Ketchum, the ultimate Pokemon master speaking. This is the story of how I began my Pokemon journey and eventually met my best friends. No, my other best friends. I meant my other best friends. Okay, I'm referring to the best friends I had back in the day when I still carried around my original Pokemon. I don't even know what the hell that is. Just show me the very original best friends I had when I first started my journey. That's not even funny! Take that picture down! I would never be best friends with a dick! Forget the pictures. You know exactly who I'm talking about. My best friend Misty... Misty, whatever her last name is. And Brock... Damn it! Brock the gym leader. But this isn't about them. This is all about me and how I met my all-time BFF and beyond, Pikachu! I was born once upon a time, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, 7 years ago when I had a dream. Something along those lines. My mommy says I was born 18 years ago when a Pokestork accidentally delivered a baby to the wrong house and then left and never visited or paid child support. I don't know if the stork was a Pokemon, but Professor Oak calls it an accident and Gary calls it bad luck, so its name must have been one of those two. I don't know very much about my dad. Whenever my mom describes him, she says the same words that Misty does whenever she stubs her toe really badly for some reason. But she did say he was a Pokemon trainer, so he must have been one of the greatest trainers who ever lived, because he was so busy on his quest, he never even had time to return any of my calls. Then when I was 10 years old and got my Pokemon license, I asked my mommy if I could leave home and begin my journey. She said something about there being no college fund anyways, and next thing I knew, I was on my way. Unlike those other kids in my class whose parents loved them too much to let them wander off into the wilderness. In other words, I totally lucked out. My story begins 8 years ago in 1998. Of course, it's 2011 now, and I just said 8 years ago. I've never been too good at math. You know what? That would actually mean... Screw it! Math is lying to you! So the day I woke up to get my first Pokemon, I was late. And not Misty's stupid late, just the regular kind of late where you can't do something on time. So I went to Professor Oak, who only had 3 Pokemon, which were all gone. Even though he knew at least 4 people were coming, and he told us the night before we could choose whichever one we wanted. He also said there was only 150 Pokemon. He's a genius, so I guess he changes his mind a lot. Anyways, knowing that I couldn't get what I wanted, I did what every child does who has to change that. I threw a temper tantrum, and it worked, because it turns out there was another Pokemon, and he just didn't want to give it to me because of how dangerous it was. It's a Pikachu! Just like the other kids at my school, Pikachu didn't like me though, and it hurt me, and then ignored me. It's okay though, because we're gonna become the world's ultimate BFFs, and we just didn't know it at the time, because we're cool like that. So I immediately started trying to catch Pokemon, because you gotta catch them all. Only I didn't know how yet, which made me angry, so I decided to throw rocks at them instead. But then I hit one Sparrow who got really mad and wanted to kill me, and then Pikachu and I made it more mad, and like a billion gazillion Sparrows wanted to kill me, and I was like, shit! I just finished playing Zelda. I should have saw this coming. Unlike the other anime shows, though, my natural fighting instincts didn't kick in, so I just ran away. So I ran. I ran so far away, just like the song in the 80s instructed me to do. But I must have ran all the way to the edge of the earth because I came across this really big cliff of a waterfall. Now, I didn't know how shallow the river below was, or how strong the current was, but I did know that those Sparrows were really, really pissed off. So I said something really cool and jumped in, just like those people in the movies do. Or those people on the side of bridges who want to get into heaven even sooner. It wasn't until I landed in the water that I realized that I never learned how to swim. So the bad news was I was trapped in a current, but the good news was I saw a Gyarados. The bad news was the Gyarados didn't like me, but it left me alone because Pokemon naturally have respect for me. Except for those sparrows that were trying to kill me, and my Pikachu at the time. Not to mention that Rattata that stole my food earlier. Okay, most Pokemon respect me. Luckily, Misty was fishing that day, because that's what people who suck at Pokemon do. And she saved my life, and then told me that I injured my Pikachu, and then tried to save its life as well. Sucking at Pokemon, the mistake she made was she left herself completely vulnerable, which I used to steal her bike, which I later on broke and refused to pay for. It's not my fault that girls are stupid. So a gazillion sparrows started chasing me again, and it was at this point that I realized that I never learned how to ride a bike, so I fell over. So I know it was less than an hour of getting my starter Pokemon, and it and me were already injured and about to die, but in my defense, I was only 10 years old. Luckily, I'm smarter than the letters on my paper say, and I thought to myself, what would Jesus do? So I got into a cross position and decided to let the sparrows crucify me so I could die for Pikachu's sins. It was at that moment when my Pikachu realized that after killing me, they were probably going to kill it as well. So it jumped on my shoulders and did a thunderbolt so powerful that the UN weapons inspectors have never left our country since. Then I went into a coma and the rest of my life was just an illusion. I'm kidding, I wouldn't do that because that's retarded. Instead I came back to life because that's what Jesus would do. Then Pikachu looked me in the eye, and it was at that moment we both realized at the same time that we were never going to pick on sparrows again. Pikachu and me were still really hurt though, so I watched a Pokemon that no one ever seen before fly over the rainbow and waited to die. Again. And that's my very first day of being a Pokemon trainer. Next time, I'll tell you about my very second day of being a Pokemon trainer, when I was attacked by gangsters and blew up a hospital.